Welcome to the second part of the notes for focus and directrix. Okay, I want to now direct your attention back to the first page. Okay, so what happens when we are trying to deal with a parabola? Like most parabolas that we deal with, their vertices are not normally at the origin. So we start off with a pretty simple example where the vertex was at the origin, but what if it's not at the origin when we start off? Okay, fair question. So we're going to look at example 1 here to kind of answer that question. Okay, write an equation for the graph that is the set of all points in the plane that are equidistant from the point, okay, f(0,3), so that's your focus, and the line y equals -3. Okay, we are going to write these equations in vertex form. Remember that is a and then x minus h squared plus k, where your vertex is the point hk, think inside opposite, outside the same, and your a value is 1/4c, and c is the distance from the vertex to the focus. Great. Okay, so a lot of background information there. Let's see what this one would look like. Well, again, use graph paper if you have it. Draw an axis, and let's look at what we have. So we have a focus at 0, 3. Okay, so x equals 0, y equals 3. That is focus. Okay, the directrix is going to be your horizontal line, y equals -3. Sorry, I missed it a little bit there. Okay, well, how can we find it? Well, the first point, the easiest point to find, is that your vertex is exactly between those two lines. So it's halfway between. Okay, well, your focus and your directrix are already graphed. So as long as we can count, we should be able to, and divide by 2, we should be able to find it. Okay, so count down from your focus down to your directrix, or even easier, subtract the y values. Okay, so if you do that, the y value from the focus is 3. The y value from the directrix is -3. So if you subtract them, 3 minus -3, it's a distance of 6. Okay, well, we want to go halfway between. So to go halfway between, divide it by 2, and so we're going to count down 3, or up 3. So it's going to be exactly between. So down 3 from your focus actually puts us at a very familiar vertex. So down 1, 2, 3, you can see that red dot I put there is exactly at the origin. Okay, well, now we know our vertex is at 0, 0. Our parabola opens upwards because it always is going to catch that focus. So we could actually write out most of this equation. Y equals a x minus 0, or the x value from the vertex, squared plus 0. That's the y value from the vertex. Okay, a is the distance between your focus and your vertex. Well, we got that distance right here, 3. So a is 1/4 times 3, or 1/12. So let's simplify this, fill in a couple more things. A is 1/12. X minus 0 is just the same thing as x. So we can just say x squared. Plus 0 doesn't change anything either, so let's drop that. Now the only other thing we need to remember is, does it open up or down? Well, we already said it opens up because it has to catch that focus from our graph over here on the side. So this right here is going to be your final answer. Okay, let's look at one that's a little bit different. Okay, finally we're going to get one where the vertex is not right at the origin. This is a slightly more realistic example for what you might expect to see later. Okay, still easiest. Start off by graphing it. Okay, so write an equation for the graph that's the set of all points in the plane that are equidistant from the point F, which is your focus. Okay, that's over at 3, 2. And again, use graph paper if you have it. It's going to make it a little bit easier. Okay, and the line y equals 4. So up 3, 4, and that's going to look like this. Great, so finally we have one that's not quite as easy. Okay, remember, we're trying to fill in this formula, a x minus h squared plus k. A is 1/4c. C is the distance from the vertex to the focus. Well, again, we don't have our vertex yet, but we need to get it. So this line and that point are equidistant, which means your vertex has to be exactly halfway between. To find that distance, you can subtract the two y values, 4 minus 2, equals 2, okay, which means your C value is that divided by 2. That distance divided by 2, which is 1. So we can store that for later. So count down 1 from your line, or count up 1 from your point, and put your vertex there. Okay? Now, the parabola is not supposed to cross the directrix, and it's supposed to contain the focus. So we know that our parabola is going to open downward. Kind of like that. I missed it a little bit. Okay, which means our A value is going to be negative. Well, now we can fill in most of our values. Y equals A x minus, the x value from your vertex is right here. That's at x equals 3 squared. Where's the y value? Well, how far up did we put that vertex? So here's 1, there's 2, that was the focus, and 3 is the vertex. So plus 3. Lastly, your a value, 1 over 4 times c. C is the distance between your focus and your vertex, which this distance was 1. So a is going to be 1 over 4 times 1, which is 1/4. Okay, now fill that in for a, so that's 1/4 x minus 3 squared plus 3. Only problem, the parabola opens down, and down means negative. Okay, since down means negative, you have to go back and change your leading term to negative, and that's it. Okay, so this you try is an example for you to try. See if you can get it first, and then check back in a second. Alright, so this one, there's going to be a fraction or a decimal involved, so be a little bit careful about how you do it. Focus is at 0, 2. Directrix, y equals -1. We have two things we're trying to fill in. Now, start off, what's the distance between the two? The distance between the two, subtract the two y values. So 2 minus -1 is 3. And then you have to divide that by 2. So 1.5. Well, that's not super helpful. So count down 1.5, or count up 1.5. So from the line, counting up 1 takes me to the origin. 1.5 takes me exactly halfway between. So that's at 1/2. So I now see my vertex is at 0, 1/2. A little tricky. Okay, well, the distance was 1.5, so I have that for later. So start filling in your equation. Y equals a x minus 0 squared, and then plus 1/2. Okay, well, a is going to be positive or negative. Let's find out. Well, remember, vertex catches the focus, so it should go up. So a is going to be positive, and that's 1 over 4 times the c value, which we said is 1.5. Remember, it's the distance between the focus and the directrix divided by 2. So that's 4 times 1.5. That gives you 1/6. Okay, so a is 1/6. Which makes this y equals a positive 1/6. Now, x minus 0 just simplifies down to be x squared plus 1/2. Okay, so there's a couple homework problems on another sheet. Feel free to give them a try. Jump back to this video if you need some help later.